Princess Martha Louise and the Narcissist. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. Narcissists leave a trail of misery and destruction. However, all of that is conveniently brushed to one side by us, as we then focus on the new target and, opening up another tin of the golden period, we start spraying that golden dust everywhere, blinding you, causing you to believe that you've met your soulmate, the most wonderful person in the world, who understands you, who knows you inside out, causing you to feel in a way that perhaps you've never felt before, and certainly we will say that about how we feel about you. A whole box of tricks opened up in order to ensure that you are drawn in and ensnared so that we can draw that delicious life-affirming fuel from you. Invariably, there is a cast of individuals who have something to say about the behaviour of the narcissist, a string of disgruntled exes. In some instances, the narcissist moves on to a different area, so that the possibility of the new victim having anything to do with the exes is limited, perhaps even reduced to not a chance of it happening. However, there are some instances where the current victim is approached by the exes. You need to get away from him or her. You shouldn't be involved with them. They've ruined my life. Watch out. He will ruin your life also. Of course, such warnings are rarely listened to. The victim believes they found someone amazing, and all they've seen is someone amazing because they've been given the golden period. It's also likely that the narcissist has smeared the exes or the immediate ex to this new victim by telling them that their last relationship was a difficult one, that they were in an abusive relationship and they're so pleased to have met you because you're nothing like that awful individual that I was with before. Accordingly, the victim witnesses a person who treats them really well, has been warned about some nutcase that might come looking to cause trouble, and then along comes the nutcase causing trouble. The prophecy is fulfilled. Therefore, that victim, as a consequence of the manipulations that they've been subjected to, flattery, bribery, the golden period, all of the benign manipulations, and the smearing of the exes, believes the narcissist and doesn't believe the person that comes with a warning. And therefore, all of those individuals who have something to say about the conduct of the narcissist tend not to be listened to, but they are there and they bear evidence. Sometimes it's not necessarily romantic individuals in the fuel matrix that have this information. Often, there is at least one family member who is able to speak about the unpleasant behaviour of the narcissist. Some family members never see it because they form part of the facade, but invariably, because they have had an involvement in the life of the narcissist for decades, they see not only perhaps behaviours towards them, but more usually the way the narcissist has behaved with other people, perhaps witnessing their fallout with friends, commonly seeing a string of terrible relationships. There is often somebody within the family matrix who is able to speak out about the narcissist's behaviour. Some won't. They're loyal members of the coterie, and they form part of the facade, so they don't recognise the complaints that come. But often there is someone, usually a scapegoat, a parent perhaps, or a sibling, who has come off badly as a consequence of the treatment of the narcissist and has a string of evidence. And it's often that individual who is seen less as having an axe to grind that has greater credibility. Of course, the narcissist invariably smears family members also. I just don't get along with my dad, he's always tried to control my life. Sometimes that's true because the father is a narcissist also. But often, this is the smearing by the narcissist in relation to something that is untrue. Accordingly, there is invariably evidence of the bad behaviour of the narcissist in terms of what they've done and also their treatment of the specific individual. but often it goes ignored for the reasons that I've just explained. Princess Martha Louise of Norway is ensnared with a narcissist. For those of you that are unaware, she's a member of the Norwegian royal family. She's a businesswoman and a self-described clairvoyant. She's the only daughter of King Harald V and Queen Sonja, and she's fourth in line of succession to the Norwegian throne after her younger brother Håkon and his children, but she is not a member of the royal house. Like her aunts Ragnhild and Astrid, she has no inheritance rights to the Norwegian throne at the time of her birth due to Norway's agnatic primogeniture succession. This only changed in 1990, when the Norwegian Parliament adopted male preference primogeniture succession for those born before 1990, which made her third in line at the time after her younger brother. She is active as a private businesswoman and an alternative therapist, and doesn't carry out official engagements on behalf of the royal house. From 2007 to 2018, she had her own alternative therapy centre, commonly known in Norway as the Angel School, which provided training in clairvoyance and communication with angels and communication with the dead. She was married to the late writer and visual artist Ari Behn from 2002 to 2017. In May 2019, she publicly announced her romantic relationship and professional collaboration with Durek Verrett, a conspiracy theorist and self-described shaman, who has served time in prison and who has been characterized by Norwegian media and other critics as a con man. I've explained in a previous part about her being ensnared by a narcissist, but now there's an opportunity for me to tell you more about her ensnarement in terms of additional evidence that demonstrates that Durek Verrett is, of course, a narcissist, but also where that information comes from. An interview in Se og Hør, which is Norwegian for see and hear, contains information from Durek Verrett's mother, Veruska Urquhart. Now, Se og Hør is a bit of a gossip magazine, so as usual I leave it up to you to determine the veracity of the material. I've also done my best to translate it from the Norwegian into English. So those of you who are Norwegians and listening can detect any errors in that translation, fair enough. Accordingly, Veruska Urquhart, who's aged 79, provides a number of startling pieces of information about her son, Durek Verrett, who's aged 48. This, of course, is a family member who is potentially able to dish the dirt on the narcissist because, of course, she's known him his entire life. The self-proclaimed shaman, grandiosity, self-absorption, Durek Verrett, has made many different claims about his family and background, which the mother claims are pure lies on Durek's part, telling of lies, revision of history. Veruska has previously told how she felt let down when Durek and Marta celebrated a grand Christmas in New York, while she sat alone and abandoned in the same city, and had to read about her son's Christmas celebration on social media. Isolation, exclusion, grandiosity, use of social media, showing off. Now let's bear in mind, might mum have an axe to grind about the way that she's been treated, and therefore should we treat her evidence with caution? I leave that up to you. But if what she's stating is correct, this demonstrates the self-absorption of Durek Verrett, who has a grand old knees up, whilst leaving his mum sat alone and abandoned on her own at Christmas. In the interview, Veruska warns the Norwegian people about her son and claims that Princess Martha Louise, age 51, has been brainwashed. I'm sorry to say it, but the princess has been brainwashed by my son. I actually think he has run away with her brain, says Veruska in the exclusive interview. Accordingly, This is quite common, isn't it, for the intimate partner primary source of a narcissist to be brainwashed. We've seen it with Harry and Harry's wife, where he has swallowed the Kool-Aid. And many of you who have been involved with the narcissist will know that, in effect, you felt brainwashed. When you came out of the entanglement on the other side, you looked back at yourself and thought, who on earth was that person? What did I become? What was I thinking? Durek's mother refutes in detail many of her son's made-up claims about his background and life. Revision of history, telling of lies. Durek's mother now hopes that Princess Marta will soon open her eyes and look past her son. My son is very charismatic. I don't know where he gets all his stories from, or why he spreads all these lies. Well, he gets all of these stories, Durek's mother, from his narcissism, which causes him to invent these tall tales for the purposes of assertion of control over the people that he's talking to draw fuel from them by way of their reactions. He's charismatic, certain narcissists are, and he spreads these lies because, in his mind, they're his truth. She continues, he is dangerous. I want to warn all Norwegians against my own son, she says in the interview with Se og Hør. Durek's mother is not happy with the many false stories she claims Durek is spreading. Princess Marta's fiancé is said to have lied to both Marta and the journalists, and in the big case, several examples of this have come to light. Durek Verrett has received a lot of criticism for the content of his book, Spirit Hacking, which was translated into Norwegian and finally published by the publisher Lille Måne. However, it was Cappelen Dam who first secured the rights to the book, but when it became known that Durek claimed, among other things, that cancer could be self-inflicted, revision of history, lie, grandiosity, lack of emotional empathy, they chose to withdraw from the collaboration. There are passages in the book which, in my opinion, are very problematic, in particular those which deal with the cases of cancer and possibilities of treating cancer, said publishing manager Knut Olav Ulvestad to Dagbladet, after they scrapped the book. In 2020, Durek's ex-fiancé, Hank Greenberg, 50, gave an interview to Se og Hør and told how Durek Verrett allegedly brainwashed him. This, of course, demonstrates sexual fluidity, which is a hallmark of the lack of boundary recognition and the chameleon nature of the narcissist, and another allegation of brainwashing. Greenberg states, Durek's previous girlfriend tried to warn me when we got together, another victim of the narcissist. I wish I had listened. Now I feel that Princess Marta Louise should be given the same warning, Hank stated 3 years ago. After Hank stood up and warned, it didn't take long for Princess Marta and Durek to hire a lawyer and threaten legal action in an attempt to silence Hank. Nullification of threat to control through legal threat. Veruška Urquhart finds it painful to have to retaliate against her own son, but she says in the interview that it has now gone so far that there is no alternative than doing nothing. Urquhart has lived in New York since she and Verrett's father separated over 40 years ago. Perhaps that separation was the formation of a lack of control environment for him. She says that she knew there was something special about her son, who would later become a self-proclaimed shaman, and she knew this when she became pregnant. She also claims that she knew from an early age that her son had so-called special powers. Previously, Princess Marta's fiancé has taken to social media on numerous occasions to pay tribute to his mother. Benign Hoover, relationship bulletin, flattery, assertion of control through benign means. However, it seems that the relationship has deteriorated, according to Urquhart. She explained, he doesn't work for the world, he works against the world. He does not work for the people, he works against the people. And Durek does not help you to find the divine light, he takes you to his light, where he can insinuate himself and manipulate you, his mother claims. Accordingly, she sees the manipulative behaviour that he engages in and is quite keen to explain to other people. She identifies the way that he works against other individuals. She goes on to say that she's grateful for the way the Norwegian royal family has taken Verrett into the fold. She states, "I want to thank them for embracing him so well. Thank you very much, the King and Queen of Norway. This is truly amazing of you. Imagine if I could meet them." Urquhart wants to meet the royal family. She hasn't had the opportunity to meet what will soon be her daughter-in-law, even though they have spoken on the phone. Shades of Harry and his involvement with his father-in-law, Thomas Markle Sr. Interestingly, whilst recognising that her son is problematic in terms of telling lies, revising history, isolating her, Urquhart speaks well of Martha to Louise, saying she's a wonderful person. The mother speaks out against her son. Many people, of course, that simply wouldn't happen. Why? Because there's no reason to do so. It's a possibility that she has her own motivations from doing so, which, who knows, maybe the mother is a narcissist too. But what she provides is evidence which, on the face of it, supports his behaviour as a narcissist, his grandiosity, his self-absorption, the magical thinking, the revision of history, the way that he's fallen out with his mother, that he doesn't have anything to do with her, that he's not even bothered to introduce his wife to his mother, that he isolated her at Christmas time. All goes to demonstrate further aspects of his narcissism in action, and also demonstrates that there is invariably somebody that holds the evidence about the narcissist, commonly a family member. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.